The Brainiac Corporation. And another day begins. From all over the country, a crack team of the finest minds arrive at their base.
Hello.
Their mission, to continue to push back the boundaries of scientific knowledge and understanding. So come on in, step inside with us. But prepare yourself for a bumpy ride as we embark on the worst excesses that are Brainiac Science Abuse.
Brainiac. 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 Brainiac.
Welcome to Brainiac, the show that pulls a Moonie in the face of science. The big science tonight. Who's best, dog or Brainiac? A sofa and armchair get what's coming to them. We name and shame the world's messiest sandwich. And Dart star Bobby George lights the touch paper on another caravan destruction. But first... Stop! The following experiment is dangerous. Do not try this at home. No, really, don't.
It's just great balls of fire!
The Newton's Cradle, named in honour of Sir Isaac for exemplary work with apples and designed to illustrate the conservation of momentum and energy. And the microwave, designed to illustrate that obliterating food into a tasteless mess doesn't have to take all day. But what happens when you combine the two? Shiny steel balls deflect the microwaves, producing sparking points as the radiation flies off back into the oven's shell, which in turn causes havoc with the oven's magnetron, until it's finally too much to bear. Another good reason not to put metal inside a microwave. We do these experiments so you don't have to. Do not try this at home.
It's just great balls of fire!
It's kind of touching, really. Two loyal and obedient servants enjoying one another's company. One embarrasses you by sniffing strangers' bums, the other barks at cats. But the thing is, what if you had to choose? Which is best, dog or Brainiac?
This is champion border collie Taz. And this is Brainiac Joe. In order to find out who's best, we're going to have a race.
Dog and Brainiac are going head-to-head with a series of mental and physical challenges. First up, an obstacle course. We've got ramps, bridges, hoops to go through, tunnels to go through, hurdles, seesaws. And then, finally, it's rounded off with a 30-metre swim and a dash to the finishing line.
So, let's take a look at the stats. Dog is 52 centimetres tall and weighs 17 kilos. Brainiac, 1,74 metre tall and a hefty 79 kilos. Brainiac will use the bipedal style, running upright on 2 legs, while Dog prefers the quadruped style, using 4 legs to get around. An advantage when it comes to speed and agility. But Brainiac has 2 rotating arms, complete with opposable thumbs, handy for catching and swimming fast. So, may the best man, or man's best friend, win.
OK, here we go. Brainiac, are you ready? Dog, are you ready? Good, right, on the sound of the whistle, begin. Go!
So Brainiac behind already, that dog whistle just too high-pitched for his human hearing. Dog quite literally flying, but Brainiac's overweight condition is slowing him down. And now he's got to do something Homo sapiens haven't done for a few million years, get around on all fours. That's no trouble for Dog, who's in and out in seconds. Fat boy Brainiac finally makes it through, but it looks as if he's a long way behind. Where is the dog?
The dog's wandered off. He's been distracted.
It seems Dog can't ignore the call of nature and has headed into the bushes to relieve himself, giving the potty-trained Brainiac a great chance to get ahead. Now it's the frisbee test. If he can catch it first time, Brainiac will be miles clear. But he's dropped it.
Stay.
Those opposable thumbs no use if you've got no hand-eye coordination. And now Dog rejoining the race. Dog catches the frisbee first time and moves straight onto our drink a pint challenge. Brainiac's caught his frisbee at last, but can he catch Dog?
Good boy.
Dog's tongue-lapping technique is slow, but Brainiac's pub training is really paying off. He's downing his pint in next to no time. Next, it's a dash up and down the hill to the swim section, and Brainiac has a slight lead. But Dog definitely the quicker of the two. It looks like he's going to be first in the water. Dog's straight in. He's not worried about getting his hair wet, but Brainiac's stopping to put on hat and goggles. Is that vanity going to cost him? Dog's showing a smooth swimming technique. Oh, it's not so pretty from Brainiac, but it is effective.
And as they get to the end, Dog's struggling because his shoulders don't rotate. He's reduced to, well, doggy paddle.
They're going to finish neck and neck at the end. And those human arms are real help on the get-out too. Dog's left himself a lot to do now. It's a dash to the finish line. And in the end, Brainiac has done just enough to claim a face-saving win.
Loser! 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 Loser!
So there you go. If it's a combination of loyalty, obedience and performance you're after, then a Brainiac wins. Just. Come on, boy. Come on. Well done. Come on. There you go, fella. Good Brainiac. Now, go away.
Things that make you go.
Here's one for you. Why do you call it a pair of trousers when there's only one?
Things that make you go.
Deep in the basement at Brainiac HQ, the world of celebrity has been competing in a contest conceived to answer one of science's burning questions. Which celebrity can take the biggest electric shock? Our next challenger is Britain's #1 weather girl, Sian Lloyd. After Sian acquaints herself with the chair, the assistants step in to make last-minute medical checks. It makes the celebrities feel safe, but our Brainiac's medical training consists of 2 minutes spent reading the back of a box of aspirin. Next, she's handed a safe phrase to shout when the pain gets too much. For Sian, that's an easy-to-remember phrase she might utter during a prime-time forecast. 44-year-old Sian is 5'6" and a svelte 8 stone 2 pounds. Believe it or not, Sian was born Welsh, which just goes to show that with elocution training, anyone can become a celebrity. The Brainiac electric chair has 6 shock settings, from remote control soft to taser gun intense. So, how much can Lloyd take?
Oh! That's not what I expected!
It's a high-pressure situation for our weather girl, but it looks like smooth sailing. Well, so far. The perma-smile is starting to look a little forced now. The shock's obviously beginning to tell.
It's really awful. There's a good chance of lightning in the south.
And she's out of there. Yet another celebrity too wet to complete level 3. That leaves Sian Lloyd stuck in the lower reaches of our table. And at the moment, it's clear boys are tougher than girls when it comes to celebrity electric shocks. Next week, we'll see if big pansy Fran Cosgrave will buck the trend.
Things what my body does.
My name's Tom, and the thing what my body does is this.
Each human hand has over 20 bones, of which 14 make up the fingers and thumb, and are called the phalanx bones. Movement is accomplished using 2 sets of muscles and tendons. Most normal people have better things to do than use them like this. If you've got a body that does something unusual, then write to us at info@brainiac.co.uk and we'll share it with the world. All in the name of science, of course. Oh, yeah. Oh. What is Britain's messiest sandwich? The sandwich. Simply wedge some food into some bread. Every country has their favourite. The British love a bacon and egg butty. Americans the gut-swelling burger. Mexicans like to be regular, so they eat burritos, while the Turks have found a tasty way to serve animal waste in doner kebabs. And the French invented something called the baguette. Who knows why? But which will make the most mess on our Brainiac's brand new white polyester shirts?
Eat.
There's no mouth wiping or lip licking allowed. The Brainiac wearing the most filling at the end will be declared world's messiest sandwich. The key here is having fillings that are as sloppy and unmanageable as possible. And Kebab Boy is already struggling to cling onto the contents of his pita pocket. The combination of greasy meat and sloppy sauces disintegrates the wafer-thin bread. Proof you don't have to drink 8 pints of lager to have problems eating a kebab. All wrapped up and with a sticky consistency, the burrito is holding itself together on the way in, although it's unlikely to be in such a solid state on the way out. According to the people who know these things, 40% of all sandwiches sold are hamburgers, most of those to people who insist they're just big-boned. But it's not in the same messy league as kebab just yet. Any Gordon Ramsay will tell you a runny yolk and surplus sauce are essential in a quality bacon and egg butty. Blended with melted butter, it's showing massive mess potential. It's not as much fun with a brie and tomato baguette though. French boy has hardly dropped a morsel. The only risk here is some tomato juice on the shirt. Oh, and the stinky brie breath when you're done. This is turning into a two-horse race. Bacon and egg still falling to bits all over Brit Boy's face, while kebab continues to dissolve into one congealed, fatty, sloppy mess. Delicious. So which of these sarnies is the messiest?
Stand up, please.
Will it be the French baguette, American burger, Turkish kebab, Great British egg and bacon, or the Mexican burrito?
And the messiest sandwich is egg and bacon.
There you go. It looks good, tastes good, and by golly, it is good. The Great British Egg and Bacon Butty, officially the world's messiest sandwich. Will it glow or will it blow? The weekly chemistry conundrum as posed by Dr. Jon P. Kilcoyne, Principal Lecturer at the University of Sunderland. So, what chemicals does Dr. Kilcoyne have in the shed today?
Magnesium and sulphur mixture, hot wire. Will it glow or will it blow?
The answer coming up after the break. Also to come, Jon Tickle looks at the nutritional benefits of dog food.
No, I can't.
Can a Brainiac run through cardboard? And our top 5 tips on taking a number 2 in a public loo. This is Brainiac, the science show that develops a limp on zebra crossings. Still to come, a gastropod invasion in I Can Do Science Me. A silver screen legend destroys a defenseless hatchback. And which is the stickiest breakfast cereal? But first, before the break, Dr. Jon P. Kilcoyne of the University of Sunderland posed the question.
Magnesium and sulphur mixture, hot wire. Will it glow or will it blow?
The answer, glow. Magnesium is a very reactive metal and binds with sulphur easily. It's used to remove sulphur in steel making and also makes a fine glow. Nice one, Doc.
What a great glow.
Welcome everyone to the one, the only Brainiac for a Day, with your hosts Dolly Girl and Dolly Boy. Each week, one lucky viewer gets to put on the famous yellow t-shirt and spend an explosive thrill-packed day as a Brainiac. And this week's Brainiac hanger-on is Kathy Cushion, a 36-year-old dietitian from Highworth in Wiltshire. Welcome to the show, Kathy. Now tell us what it is you're blowing up today.
My sofa and armchair.
Kathy Cushion, lounge furniture. You couldn't make it up. 1 year ago, Kathy was an 18-stone couch potato. But now, she's a keep fit fanatic, out to bin everything that reminds her of her old lazy way. She just needs closure, man. But before she can blow up anything, Kathy has to step through the magic Brainiac door and transform from Gym Bunny Kathy into Brainiac Kathy. So far, so good. See what I just did? But now it's decision time for this part-time Brainiac. Each of these envelopes contains a different explosive. Which one will Kathy choose? She's gone for A. Let's find out what she's got. Ooh, that's dynamite! No, not you, love, the explosive. Yes, that'll puff up those cushions once and for all. No time to put your feet up, because there's the siren, the signal for Kathy and the presenters to retreat to a moderately safe distance, allowing our explosives expert to step in and rig the charge. Highly volatile, unstable nitroglycerin is the explosive ingredient. But mixed with diatomaceous earth and packed in paper sticks, it's a lot more stable. So really, no need to panic. Oh, don't forget, it could be you joining us here on the Brainiac for a Day set. Just write to us at info@brainiac.co.uk, telling us what you'd like to blow up and why. But today, it's all about Kathy. And as always on Brainiac for a Day, it's safety first,
Brainiac second!
Shh, quiet please, as Kathy gets ready to rumble. Boom! What a blast! Kathy's made mincemeat of her two-piece suite. It may be safe to handle, but add a detonator and dynamite has the firepower to do maximum damage. The nitroglycerin blast really knocking the stuffing out of those old chairs. Well done, Kathy. Now, what do you say?
Thanks, Brainiac, for making me Brainiac for a day.
That's right. Manners cost you nothing. Now off you pop, love. There's a bus back to Wiltshire in half an hour. Oh, and Kathy, stay away from that cake trolley.
Good life. Breakfast cereal. It's healthy and nutritious, but leave even the slightest trace of it in your bowl and you're left with hours of washing up misery. But hey, let's not be negative about it. Which breakfast cereal could best find a use as an industrial adhesive? Which is Britain's toughest cereal? We've whittled the contest down to 3 cereals renowned for their dish-lingering properties. Cornflakes, Wheatie Biscuits and Muesli.
Question is, which is stickiest? So, first task is to prepare the mixtures.
Excellent. Now, first up, we're using cornflakes. In they go, plenty of them. And we're now adding just enough milk for cereal setting perfection. Here's my own little theory to increase the adhesion properties. Just a little dusting of sugar on your cereal there. Actually, I'll just... there. What a big dusting. Right, what's next?
It's the same recipe for the Wheatie Biscuits. The muesli, on the other hand, gets a handful of dried fruit and some honey.
Right, we can leave all of those to mash before we can introduce them to crockery.
Of course, cereal is normally only found encrusted on dishes and spoons, but to really sort the wheat from the chaff here, we're using a variety of challenging washing up items.
So, all we need to do now is let it harden. It's been a couple of days now since we made up the cereal. It's time to see how they've hardened off. Well, the cornflakes are like a coating of blown concrete. The Wheatie biscuits would give industrial floor tile adhesive a run for its money. And the muesli has bonded with the strength of freshly tarred road chippings on a car bonnet. So, it's crunch time. Which has stuck the strongest?
In a contest of brains against bran, the Lady Brainiacs have 15 minutes to attend to their stack of washing up.
At the end, the dirtiest dishes will be considered to be harbouring the stickiest cereal. Right then, girls, scrubbers at the ready. Begin.
All three sensibly start by prizing out their larger pots. The reason cereal sticks is down to the presence of starches and gluten in the cereal, and combined with proteins and fat in the milk, these make it altogether tougher to remove.
You see, these cornflakes really are welded on. You're getting a real lesson in what fortified with iron actually means. Come on.
Colanders and pans are tricky to clean at the best of times, but they're a nightmare when gummed up with hardened whole grain. And the Wheatie biscuits have bonded to the crockery like an adhesive. She just can't shift them. 10 minutes in, and they've made little progress.
Of course, the only surefire way to ungum a clagged up cereal bowl is to soak it, which could take anything from 6 to 8 hours, which is boring. So, could a more practical approach work? Could a hammer and chisel do it?
Well, these are heavy-duty tools and we're bound to make some mess. The bran resisted a scourer, but it's no match for an angle grinder. Then again, neither is the crockery. The wire brush on the drill, however, is struggling to remove the cornflakes, but it does produce a lovely scratch effect on the glaze. Just a few seconds left to remove those final incrustations. So, what is Britain's stickiest cereal?
OK, thank you. Time's up, and in third place, officially the least sticky, muesli. I mean, it's still a bit of a mess, if we're honest, but with some vigorous scrubbing, most of it came off. In second place, the Wheatie biscuits. It started off looking bad. It was sticking stronger than a cowpat to a blanket. But with some seriously vigorous work, the bulk of it was removed. And so, in first place, incredibly still welded on, the cornflakes, proving that cornflakes are the stickiest cereal.
This frame contains 3 layers of heavy-duty corrugated cardboard, consisting of fluted paper sandwiched between sheets of puncture-resistant card. This material resists crushing and is often used to cushion fragile objects. This Brainiac is about to run full speed towards the cardboard. But will he break through or bounce off? It's a bounce off! The cardboard's robust cellulose structure and starch-based glue was too strong and held up despite the Brainiac's considerable forward momentum. 3 layers of cardboard, something you can't run through.
I can do science, me.
It's the I Can Do Science Me Open Auditions, where you get to answer your own big science questions under the ever-enthusiastic eye of Charlotte Hudson. If you've got a question, write to us at info@brainiac.co.uk, and you too can have your moment in the science spotlight.
Yes, hurry up, please. Number? 123. 123. Jessica Dawes of Bognor Regis. Dear Brainiac, I love the show, blah, 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 of course you do. Question. When I'm not squashing snails, I like to watch them sliming their way around the garden. I was wondering, what surface do snails move on best? Cute. Well, we're all on tenterhooks with that one, Jessica. Better get on with it.
This is the science you want done. We just give you the tools to do it. Carpet from Jessica's mum's hallway. lino from Jessica's mum's kitchen, and a strip of grass from, yes, you guessed, Jessica's mum's front garden. 3 surfaces you're likely to find snails wandering around on. Next, it's time for the main attraction. No, not her, the snails. You may be wondering why we're spraying them with water. Well, it's to keep the little beauties perky. They perform at their best when it's wet and humid, apparently. Add some cucumber at the opposite end, a snail's favourite treat, according to Jessica, and hopefully this experiment will be over quickly. Kids these days, aren't DVDs and computer games enough for them anymore?
It's the parents I blame.
Jessica says snails are belly-footed gastropods, which I guess means they use their belly as a foot and they're, well, gastropodic. Their slimy snot trail is a lubricant that lets them slide over rough surfaces without hurting themselves. Oh, and most of them are hermaphrodites. I suggest you ask Mum or Dad what that means. All I care about is how quickly they can motor. With an average speed of 4.8 metres per hour and about as much directional sense as a cheap sat-nav, this could take all day. Finally, after a fun-packed 22 minutes, we have a result. One turf snail has decided the grass is greener on the lino side, and both carpet lane snails have defected, clearly excited by the feel of plastic beneath their foot. Surely, 5 out of 6 snails can't be wrong.
Her name is Jessica Dawes. She wanted to know on what surface snails moved best. The answer, it would appear, is lino. Next.
I can do science, me.
Yet again, Brainiac has gone knocking at the door of fame and fortune in the hope that any international movie stars might fancy coming out to blow something up. This week, more of a megastar than a movie star, the epitome of glamour. This RADA-trained actress's career has spanned 6 decades. She's best known for her portrayal of a vengeful ex-wife, but more recently, it's footballers' wives that's seen her super bitch characterisation. The awaiting fans won't be disappointed, but which Hollywood superstar are they about to greet? Yes, suffused with herbs and spices from 4 continents, it's Joan Collins, OBE. Joan's been a fan of science since growing up early last century. In those days, many modern discoveries had yet to be made, but Joan has always kept abreast of the latest breakthroughs by avidly reading the major scientific journals. So, as she makes her way to our luxurious chaise longue and the golden button that will blow up this car, there's just time for Joan to tease the crowd. Another timeless performance from Collins. But what's this? Joan's walking off. Causing fireworks in Dynasty was one thing, but our pyrotechnics are clearly too much for the 73-year-old Golden Girl. Oh well, she certainly gave that small hatchback some of her own special va-va-voom. Movie stars, exploding cars. Thanks, Joni, you've done us proud. We've all been there, haven't we? You're on a night out entertaining everyone with your funny stories when there's a rumble down below. The curry you had for lunch is on the move. Your only option is to use the public toilet. But don't worry, because here are Brainiac's top 5 tips on taking a number 2 in the public loo. Number 1, the It's Not Me cubicle shoe trick. If you need to drop the kids off at the pool and don't want fellow users knowing it's you producing that stinky smell, take off your shoes and turn them around. Everybody will be fooled into thinking you're only taking a tinkle and not a number 2. Number 2, cover embarrassing noises. There's nothing worse than those embarrassing, well, sounds when you're in a public toilet, so cough loudly to cover them. Carry a newspaper at all times as well. Then you can rustle it at crucial moments and ensure you maintain your dignity. Number 3, stay anonymous. If you're worried your impending number 2 is going to be particularly offensive, make sure you only enter a cubicle when no one else is around. That way you can groan, grunt and thrash about to your heart's content without anyone knowing it's you. Number 4, stay anonymous, part 2. Having produced some especially toxic waste, it's even more important no one sees your face. Make sure you only leave the cubicle when you're sure no one else is around. And don't pause to wash your hands. Someone could walk in at any time. Number 5, recce the cubicle. No matter how urgent your predicament, don't rush. Before you take a seat, check the paper situation. Once you start, there's no turning back, and it's a tricky, embarrassing walk from your cubicle to the sink with your trousers round your knees. Dr. Bunhead's back on the road in his trusty old banger. So, take cover, because science's biggest loser is still trying to flog his half-baked experiments to the unsuspecting public.
Hello. Hi. You look nice. Don't run away. I'll show you something. Come over here. I'll show you something. I can chop this onion without using a knife. No more smelly fingers. Yeah, come and have a look. If I prove you, I can do this. Will you give me a lift? So my car's broken down. All you need is it is quick, yeah, it's Dr. Bunhead's instant onion chopping kit. All you need is a small container of cryogenic liquid. That's it, stand back a bit. And the moment you've been waiting for, chopping the onion without using a knife. Drop it in there. And then...
You can't see me doing that in the kitchen, though.
Oh, yeah, but you could, because you could be watching telly, feeding the kids and all of that. Do you want a chair? Look,
Okay, we'll stay here.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, come on. You sit on my lap if you like. Okay, never mind. Worth a try.
Is it actually edible, though, afterwards?
Afterwards, totally edible. The nitrogen will just evaporate back into the air where it came from. I think I'm going to swap these over a bit so you get to see this. This is the exciting bit. We've changed the properties of the onion to being more vitreous. That means it's more like glass. Yeah. See, you're impressed. You like all that science talk, don't you? All right, suit yourself. There we go. Fingers crossed, girls. Fingers crossed. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, my Lord.
Good, eh? Good. Look at that. Oh, there's a bit more. Hang on. Just chop that little last bit. Here we go. No knife. No knife. Bit of mess, but...
It's not an onion, is it?
Yeah.
It is an onion. It's
Don't touch it.
Well, it's cold. You need to let it warm up and stuff. But
wow. I'll use that technique next time I'm doing bolognese.
Well, if you want the technique, it's £5.
Nah. No thanks.
Oh, go on. What about a lift?
Nah.
You've got space?
Nah.
Oh, go on. Please. Go. Oh, come on.
There's not enough room in the car.
You have. Please. Give us a kiss instead.
Come in. Stand over there for me. Right, Mr. Tickle. What can we do for you today?
Nurse, I'm bored. Can you tell me something interesting I can do with my body?
Certainly. Try this. Please sit down and make clockwise circles with your right foot.
Okay.
Now draw the number 6 in the air and then look at your foot.
Upper and lower limb movements are both controlled by the same bit of your brain. Managing complicated actions is too much for it to handle simultaneously, so the anti-clockwise hand motion takes precedence and overrules the clockwise foot.
Extraordinary. Thanks, nurse. That'll keep me amused for hours.
Not at all. Goodbye, Mr. Tickle.
Goodbye.
Professor Myang, bringing glamour as well as brains to the world of Brainiac. The prof's been keeping busy turning household items into mush with her favourite flamethrower. But can you guess what object she's toasting this week? It's hot, sweaty work, but that won't stop Professor Myang Lee. She doesn't mind getting her hands dirty in the name of science. Well done, Prof. Another lovely mess you've made. But have you got the remotest idea what this charred lump was before it's Myang Lee roasting? We'll find out after the break. Also to come, we make this Brainiac eat dog food for a week. Who needs a food mixer when you've got a bucket and a garden strimmer? And we put a new spin on pointless pub games.
This is Brainiac, the science show that makes up the rules as it goes along.
Still to come, Victorian Brainiac makes bubbles go bang. Brainiac Dad gets it all wrong again. And another explosive round of Brainiac Darts. But first, before the break, we saw Professor Myang Lee let loose with her favourite toy, turning an everyday household item into this melted mess. But what was it before the Prof gave it a good seeing to? So there you have it, a remote control monster truck. Nice one, Prof. You're hot stuff.
Dear John, I've heard it's safe for humans to eat dog food. Is this true, and do you recommend that I do so? Yours hopefully, Sheena Desmond from Belfast. Well, Sheena, you seem a little keen on the idea for my liking, but I'm never one to let a question get the better of me. So? Under the Animal Byproducts Regulations 2002, dog and cat food must be fit for human consumption. The main ingredient is meat, but it also contains cereals, soya protein, salt and sugar. But can I recommend it? No, I can't. Not myself, but I have found someone who's willing to give it a try. Yes, as reward for winning his head-to-head race against a real dog, this Brainiac will eat like a dog for a week. There you go. Tuck in. Well, he doesn't seem to be that fussed, but is it something that you could eat regularly? To find out if it's actually any good for you, this Brainiac will be living on dog food for a full 7 days, while I'll be living on a more common Brainiac staple, junk food. And before you say, well, no change there then, John, I'll have you know that I eat quite healthily normally. I even have some yoghurt in my fridge. This stuff has a reputation for being unhealthy, and it certainly does contain a lot of fat, sugar and salt. So could you really be better off eating dog food? We're going to decide this on a simple test of weight gain. So, before the test, I weigh 84.1 kilograms. And the Brainiac here weighs 79.6 kilograms. So, we'll meet back in a week's time and see if there's been any change. Happy eating, mate. Yes, he's really doing it. 7 days of dog food. We've decided to let him mix it with some other stuff as well, because otherwise he'll end up constipated. Breakfast, lunch and dinner. Even 11s. A cup of tea and a dog biscuit.
Evening, gents. How do you? Very well. Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, my junk food regime starts well, and it certainly saves on the washing up.
Evening.
It's tasty, but I've got a horrible feeling there's a lot of stuff in there I'd rather not know about, like the 30% fat content of a burger.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
But even worse in the fat league than burgers is this, fried chicken. I'm just going to take a little bit off the bone here and leave it on this brown paper. Now the idea there is that the fat will seep into the paper. We'll do exactly the same with dog food, just a spoonful there, and we'll leave them for a few hours and see what happens. The moment of truth. Here's the dog food. Well, there's only a small grease stain there. Let's contrast that with the chicken. And look at that. That grease stain is enormous. Ew. 8 times more enormous, in fact, as according to food scientists, that's how much more fat there is in fried chicken. And after 6 days, Brainiac's found a way of eating dog food he actually enjoys. polish that plate off, boy. It's results time and the final weigh-in. Now, you'll recall that before the test, our dog food eating Brainiac here weighed 79.6 kilograms. After a week of the yummy stuff, he now weighs 80.4 kilograms. Nearly a whole kilogram. So it just goes to show, no matter how fatty it is, if you eat more meat, you're gonna gain weight. As for me, I've been eating junk food for a week, so that's 21 delicious meals, and I weigh 86.8 kilograms. That's nearly half a stone I've put on in a week. Much more than Brainiac. So, Sheena from Belfast, a dog food diet is entirely possible and seems to be better for you than eating junk food. Let's find out what dog food really tastes like. That is horrible. I can't believe you ate that for a whole week. Go and get yourself a pizza.
The day before yesterday, 1898. I have lately been setting fire to gases. I first found some hydrogen lying around and vented it into our housemaid Dorothy's soapy bathwater. To my delectation, the bubbles it formed floated. Yet a greater thrill was still to come. They combusted terrifically. Next I tried pure oxygen. Alas, no flames. 'Twas disappointing as a beauty contest in Birmingham. But I wondered what result would ensue from a mixture of the two. Such magnificent bangs I'd not heard since Sevastopol. Running the projector more slowly, which I call action play again, shows it up superbly. Truly was Brainiac Scientifica Abusica.
It's Thursday evening, and Brainiac Mum is off to her slimming club to discuss her weight issues, which can only mean one thing. Brainiac Dad's in charge of the house. First job, make sure the kids are safely occupied. Then it's off to the kitchen to see what household chores Mum wants done. Fish and chips? Shouldn't be a hassle. Marigold and Pinion to ensure he doesn't make a mess. And Brainiac Dad's ready for action. But what's this? The deep fat fryer's on the blink. And the food mixer's filthy. You can't mix up batter in that. You know what this means. It's time for Appliance Abuse. Of course, the garden strimmer and spare electric kettle. Food mixers are a pain compared to a bucket and strimmer. Simply add the flour and milk, plug in your garden appliance, and away you go. Batter mix prepared in an instant. Dip in your fillets, and you're ready for frying. Fill the kettle with your preferred frying oil and heat. But remember, only Brainiac Dad's insane enough to do this, so don't try this at home. Fish in first to get it nice and crispy. Then add your chips. Before you know it, you've got top-notch fish and chips to go. Well done, Brainiac Dad. Just wait till Mum gets home. She will be pleased.
To sunny Wellingborough and another leg of Brainiac Darts. Bobby George is a darting legend with an international career spanning 30 years. But this won't be easy because he's up against a stubborn opponent.
Ladies and gentlemen, best of order please. It's Bobby to throw first. Game on!
Of course, for this competition, the darts rule book has been chucked away.
108!
So that each week a different explosive can destroy a caravan. We're priming today's with Semtex. It's rigged by a pressure-sensitive fuse to double top on our regulation dartboard. When hit, it sets off the fuse wire, which races to the caravan, setting off an eye-watering explosion.
Bobby, you require 121.
We reach on the action wondering how on earth Brainiac is going to get back into this match. I don't believe it! He has rigged up the board with a remote control! Definitely dirty tactics from Brainiac! Not easy for Bobby now, especially as he needs treble 17, treble 10 and double top.
Yes! Game shot! A match!
Amazing! Not even a board spinning like a Catherine wheel could put Bobby off. Magnificent play. The fuse wire's lit. Running for cover is the top priority now, because when the fuse reaches the Semtex, this holiday shack on wheels will be sent trundling into the afterlife. And there she blows. This high dangerous compound has the consistency of plasticine, which makes it the ideal choice for bank robbers. It's Bobby George 7, Brainiac and Caravans 0.